2 seconds, doing a few changes. And yeah, waiting for people to tune in. Do let me know if you can hear me and see me perfectly fine. And yeah, we'll be waiting a few minutes for people to tune in before I start. And yeah, let's chat a little bit. How are you doing? Where are you tuning in from? And how's the market been treating you? And if you've been away from the charts, do let me know what you've been doing. If you've been enjoying the fantastic weather, well, I hope you've got fantastic weather here in Basel, Switzerland. We've got like really great weather for February. I think we've got around 16 or 18 degrees. Got some time to, yeah, bask in the sunlight. February sunlight. I must say, it does feel like June at the moment. So yeah, gonna wait a few minutes before we start. Got some exciting stuff to share with you guys. Some news, some cryptocurrency news that I think you'll find important. Bullseye, Kieran, thanks for what you do. What's a good strategy for cashing out on the way up, and how do you set up your price targets? I think what you should do is watch my when to take profit video. It's this one here. I think I've showed it quite a lot of times. Let me actually show my screen. It's this one here. When to take profit. I'll paste it in the chat. Do let me know if you can see that. Yep, it's working. Sven Eimer Brink. Hey Kieran, congrats on quitting your job. Of course, I'm quitters. Looking forward to more great content in the future. Well, thanks a lot. I'm really hyped about what the future brings. 2021 is going to be super exciting. And yeah, I'm glad you're joining me on the journey. I'm super passionate about cryptocurrency. It's not about making money. I mean, of course, if I manage to make money and I don't live under a bridge, that's fantastic. I do have a few sponsorships lined up, definitely high quality sponsors, nothing shitting coins or stupid projects because I hate that. And basically, the sponsors that I've got are tools that either don't cost anything and bring a lot of value that I'm also personally using. So Aave is one sponsor, fantastic DeFi platform. And yeah, so I'll be definitely creating a lot more in-depth videos of it about different projects. I'm going to have a lot of time to deep dive into new technology and really pick it apart and create super simple explanation videos to share with you guys what I think is undervalued and has a lot of potential. And also be creating some DeFi guides, DeFi tutorials, how to use platforms, as well as also hopefully daily news videos, streamed news videos, as I think that's the easiest way for me to do them and gives a lot of stuff. Yeah. Zale Baines, let me quickly check your question. Sorry, I must have missed it. 1 second. Is ADA a treat? What will happen to Ethereum in March? I think you're gonna have to watch this live stream, as I'll be talking about that in the live stream. In around 1 or 2 minutes, I'm gonna start. Do make sure that you leave a few more likes. And yeah, we've got 8 viewers at the moment, and this will probably ramp up as the video continues. Bullseye, I watch it after your stream. Awesome, awesome. All right, at 5 past our start. And if you want to catch or you have to leave the live stream, don't worry, I'll be uploading a recapped version with all the boring parts cut out and only the juicy content in the video. So I'll be uploading that tomorrow morning. All right, I think we can start. And yeah, if you've got any questions during the live stream, just post them. Don't worry if I don't answer them right away. I'll come back to them after I finish a certain topic. All right. Let me share with you my screen and we'll jump right in. So I think this is pretty cool. We'll start a little bit about. All right, let me get the intro and dive right into it. Glad you're tuning in, guys. And I've got some really fantastic stuff to share with you today. If you're a cryptocurrency hodler, if you hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, other cryptocurrencies, and you want to really know what's happening in the market, I think this video is going to be very, very important for you to watch. So I highly recommend that you watch till the end. We're going to be covering some news that hopefully indicates where the price of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, maybe also Stellar and some other altcoins is going in the short term and long term. If the altcoin cycle is going to continue, that's also a topic that we're going to be covering as when we're watching the charts. And I think this is going to be interesting because that might change your strategy a bit. I don't recommend trading, but if you've got some altcoin positions, I think that's very important for you. I think I've also got some fundamentals about the cryptocurrency space that I think you're going to find interesting. And I'm also sharing one coin that I bought that I think has quite a bit of potential at the end of the video. So yeah, with that said, let's dive right in. Make sure to smash that like button. And yeah, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, don't subscribe if you don't like money. Well, my name is Kieran. I am a data analyst and I've been in the space since 5 years, bringing to you content so that you can make the best decisions in the space without hype, without FUD, just making sure that you get the real deal, the real stuff. And yeah, without further ado, let's start. I think this is pretty cool. So the ultimate hodl, I think this is one of the best ways to gain money in the space, as Warren Buffett likes to say. Time in the market always beats timing the market. Basically, if you try and trade and maybe time the top or time the bottom, you're always going to make less than if you stay a long time in the market. So if you forget about your position, you just buy and hold for years on end, you'll probably make a lot more money than if you try and find the best possible opportunities on when to exit a trade or enter a trade and so on. Because I see a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge in the space but make way less money than people that just hodl, have a diversified portfolio, and basically forget about their positions. I've got numerous friends that have no clue about cryptocurrency. They've got like a diversified portfolio and they don't really look at it and they're doing like extremely well. And other friends, like they're researching day in, day night, and they try and think that they're smarter than the market and they try and time the market, but most of the time they get wrecked. So I think this is pretty cool. $100 100 BTC just moved for the first time in a decade. That means someone held on to these Bitcoin since 2010. And 2010, there wasn't really a market for BTC. So that what that means is that BTC didn't really have a price. It's like you would have to barter and find someone that would offer you a certain amount for maybe 5,000 BTC. And there weren't like real trading platforms. So basically held from $0 to $5 million. So ultimate hodl strategy. And this is definitely crazy to hold so much. And in my opinion, I believe this is someone that completely forgot about his position and maybe discovered it. Or he's got like a lot of BTC. That's also one possible thing. So I think here, this is also a really great like bullish fundamental news for not only BTC but the whole cryptocurrency space. And this is the Federal Reserve status, and this is very important because on the 24th of February they had a disruption. So you can imagine how problematic that is. And basically this disruption, what I meant is that several banks or a lot of banks in the United States and probably also international banks couldn't process wire transfers because there was an outage. Doesn't really happen with cryptocurrencies since they are 24/7, not reliant on a centralized entity. So yeah, I think this is really bullish, and I think this is pretty crazy, especially with all the FUD coming out from different politicians in the US. Like you've got Yellen who's like constantly flooding cryptocurrencies, and then you've got something like this, an outage that is actually pretty bad, and yeah, just can only happen with centralized exchanges. All right. I think this is again this important message. The Federal Reserve Bank is currently experiencing connection issues for ACH and wire processing. We are actively monitoring the situation with the Federal Reserve. Please note foreign currency payments are continuing to process as normal. So yeah, bullish for the cryptocurrency space. Concerning the Tether FUD, we've got a lot more information on that area. So basically New York is done with Tether, where other states follow. And I mean, the Tether FUD is basically 2017 FUD, in my opinion. But yeah, Tether has been operating during some phases with basically no USD backing, which is pretty bad, pretty illegal, in my opinion. But now everything is more or less back in order. But during some periods of time, 2017, 2018, they definitely didn't have any backing. And that's why after an audit that happened, Tether is banned from New York after this tweet. So we're ending Bitfinex and Tether's virtual currency trading in New York after the companies covered up $850 million in losses around the globe and deceived the market in overstating reserves. So basically, during periods of time, Tether was not backed one by one by USD. Yeah, pretty sketchy. But as you can see, it didn't really have a big impact on the market. We had a minor dip. I don't think it's just because of this Tether FUD or anything like that. It's basically because the market was overextended. We had like a massive phase of upwards momentum, which is often followed by a bit of a retracement. So yeah, now just Tether has to pay an $18.5 million fine, which is basically a slap on the wrist for not having $850 million backing their reserves. Pretty crazy. And Superman wakes up with $5 million worth of BTC. Definitely crazy. I mean, yeah, you can type in the chat what you'll be doing with $5 million in your bank account or as a cryptocurrency. Would you be like on the beach, or would you like be starting your own company or retiring for good? What would you do with $5 million? Definitely let me know in the chat. Yeah. So Ethereum is marching forward. I think it's fantastic how much is settled on the Ethereum blockchain. Now I realize a lot of people are not too happy with the massive amounts of fees that you're paying, but it's definitely positive. Now you might see it in a different way, but in my opinion, it's positive because the demand is massively like surpassing the supply. And this is definitely bullish. That means basically some people are so keen on using the Ethereum blockchain that they're willing to pay like an arm and a leg to allow the transaction to pass to participate with a DeFi application. So Ethereum is on track to settle 1.6 trillion this quarter. And this is a crazy amount. This is an increase of 1,280% year over year. And yeah, that's basically what is happening with this fantastic innovation. And I think this is a very, very bullish sign for Ethereum, for the DeFi space, and for cryptocurrency in general. I mean, Ethereum is the number 2 player at the moment, still massively undervalued compared to BTC. But yeah, massive demand, incredible scale for technology that critics claimed couldn't scale. There's definitely a lot of work to be done with Ethereum, and I think Ethereum 2.0 is something that has to come. It couldn't come any sooner because the fees are crazy high for retail investors. It's probably a bit too high at the moment. I think like 10,000, 20,000 US dollar is the minimum amount that actually makes sense at the moment to interact with DeFi, with like $50, $100 smart contract fees. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. So, and also what is pretty crazy is at the moment, mining Ethereum is incredibly lucrative. I mean, you've got like 2 or 5 or even 10 ETH in mining fees, and that's pretty crazy. So revenues to miners on the Ethereum ecosystem are going crazy. Everyone wants to use Ethereum, and the reason why they want to pay so much is because there's so many opportunities on the Ethereum blockchain to earn way more money. And that can be like new ICOs, that can be like yield farming opportunities. And of course, it's not people with $100 worth of ETH. It's more likely people with 100K plus, massive whales that are paying these fees because it's super lucrative to earn like 5%, 10%, 15%, or even more APY, which they wouldn't get in any other like blockchain. So that's pretty cool. MicroStrategy adds another $1.02 billion worth of Bitcoin to its balance sheet. And this is incredible. So they added 19,452 Bitcoins for $1.026 billion. So that's OTC. They have to find sellers. And they bought it at the price of around $52,765 per BTC as of the 24th, 2nd, 2021. And that's pretty crazy. So yeah, at the moment they're hodling around 90,531 BTC at an average price of $23,985 per Bitcoin. So if you don't think this is bullish, well, let me tell you, my friend, if you're selling at the moment, you're basically selling to institutions. And yeah, I don't really want to be hyping this up too much, but think about it like this. If institutions are buying massive amounts of BTC, it's probably not because they're going to be selling it anytime soon. It's because they're escaping an ecosystem that is not for them. And they're escaping the fiat currencies around the world that are suffering from hyperinflation. So yeah, if you wanted to hear any type of bullish news, this is the this is the strongest type of bullish news that you can get. And yeah, in my opinion, selling at the moment is a mistake. Yeah, that's basically what I have to get. Don't be scared of the dips. Definitely have an exit in mind. But yeah, institutions are coming in, so at the moment it makes no sense to sell. Since these institutions are what smart money basically is, and the smartest thing is to follow smart money. Concerning Ethereum scaling, Andres Horowitz leads round 2 for Optimism's layer 2 scaling solutions. I think one thing that might be super lucrative to invest in is different layer 2 scaling solutions, because that's going to be where Ethereum scaling is going to happen in the next 1 or 2 years, before Ethereum 2.0 launches. And with the new changes with the Ethereum 2.0 blockchain, a lot of layer 2 scaling solution is also going to be implemented on Ethereum 2.0. David Anderson, are institutions buying Ethereum 2? You've got Grayscale buying quite a lot of Ethereum. And the thing about Ethereum is it doesn't have the massive network effect that Bitcoin has. And that's one of the reasons why I believe Ethereum is still undervalued. You have to see that Bitcoin has a maturity of around 12 years, and institutions are only now starting to warm up to the idea of adding BTC to their balance sheets. So I think Ethereum is the next one. There are already some institutions that are waking up to the potential of using Ethereum, and you've got to get Grayscale, and you've got also several hedge funds that are starting to accumulate, definitely not in the same amount as institutions are accumulating BTC, but it's definitely moving in that direction. So the awareness of what Ethereum is still not there to incite institutional FOMO. And yeah, so I think this is still something that has to come. And I'm pretty sure like during 2021, you're going to hear a lot more institutions buying ETH. But I don't think it's still at that point as the institutional investment is happening on BTC. So that's to answer your question, David Anderson. Ethereum's time still has to come for institutional investment. Yeah. So I think if we look at the DeFi space, this is pretty interesting because this is the sector that is going to experience the most growth as it did in 2020, and I think it's going to experience similar growth as 2020. And DeFi space increased by around 40x last year, pretty crazy, and I wouldn't be surprised if the DeFi space increases by that much this year as well. And the main reason for that is that DeFi apps at the moment are generating massive amounts of revenue, and this revenue is then shared to token holders or shared into this dApp ecosystem. So if you look at a lot of the charts, you've got daily DeFi revenue. There are, as you can see, it's been increasing massively. So you have to realize that at the beginning of 2020, the DeFi space was nowhere. I think it was even under $1 billion US. And I've been making videos about DeFi since, yeah, basically beginning of last year. And I remember when it surpassed the $1 billion US mark and of total value locked. And now at the moment it's around $40 billion US. And yeah, Uniswap was like super small. So this is the monthly DeFi revenue of different DeFi apps. You've got Uniswap, a decentralized exchange. You've got SushiSwap, which is a Uniswap clone. But now, even though there was a lot of controversy, it's picked up and it's become a pretty good competitor. You've got Compound Finance, lending and borrowing platform, Aave as well, lending and borrowing, Curve, and a few other ones. And as you can see here, February in 2021, like it just exploded, the massive amount of DeFi revenue. And if you look a lot of the coins here, they're generating a lot. Now the thing is here with DeFi, even though at the moment it's like mainly on the Ethereum blockchain, I don't think that Ethereum is gonna hold the biggest part of the DeFi pie. I think this pie is going to be split up among many other players as soon as they're launching their DeFi apps. So you're going to have the Cardano blockchain that is already implementing a lot of fantastic features. So for example, ERC20 converters to bring Ethereum dApps onto the Cardano ecosystem. You've got the native tokens that have been implemented on the Cardano blockchain. And you also got the Yele module, which allows developers to create Cardano dApps with many different types of programming languages. So the Cardano blockchain, third generation blockchain, is definitely going to make some waves in the DeFi space. And I can imagine that a lot of the platforms will not only stay on Ethereum, but they'll also maybe create a counterpart on other blockchains. So you've got Cardano, you've also got Polka Dot, and you've got a few other ones that are pretty promising. So in my opinion, keep an eye out on the DeFi space. That is going to be super bullish, in my opinion, on the Cardano blockchain, because we can see here, this is basically an example of what kind of potential we can expect. And in my opinion, many of the Cardano DeFi apps that will be created, they're probably going to do a 100x easily. So this is something you have to keep your eye upon. So I'll definitely be covering those apps as soon as I get to play with them. Hopefully already in 2021. So I'm creating a Cardano video. It'll be up probably sometime next week, talking about the massive projects that have been done for the Cardano blockchain in 2021. So there's like incredible amount of stuff that's been developed for Cardano. I'm pretty bullish on Cardano. We'll get back to Cardano when we look at the charts. We'll talk about the price increase and yeah, what's happening. So there's also a few updates happening for Cardano in end of February and March, and I think that's going to be very bullish and increase the price by quite a bit. Hopefully we surpass the previous all-time high. That would be incredibly bullish. So yeah, we've already looked at the Ethereum settlements. I think this is pretty interesting. When I was talking about rich people are using DeFi, and that's very visible in this breakdown of transactions. Back in 2020, you'd have 15% of the transactions were under $100 and 39% were above 10K. And then now, if you look at 2021 February, you've got only 2% are under $100 because of the massive fees that we've got. And the breakdown of transactions in February 2021, 62% are above 10K. So that means rich money is playing with DeFi at the moment, which is unfortunate, but I guess, yeah, that's something to be expected. Let's talk a little bit about the NFT space, which is incredibly hyped at the moment. I'm not too sure where the value comes from. Most of these artworks are being sold, but apparently people do like it. I just tell you to stay on the side of to err on the side of caution when buying some NFT items, especially if you think you're going to be selling them for way more money than you paid, as it's probably a type of hot potato game that basically at some point someone's going to hold an asset and he's not going to be able to sell it for the price that he bought it. Especially since a lot of like super high profile influencers like Gary V are starting to enter the space, shilling a lot of projects. And in my opinion, like we're definitely not like at the beginning of the curve in terms of hype. We're probably more like in the saturation phase. So it's possible that a lot of people get wrecked because they follow his advice. Yeah. It's also the Logan Paul, not Jake Paul stuff. I think he's like also promoting a lot of NFTs. So yeah, Beeple is a pretty famous NFT artist, and now he sold an artwork for 6.6 million. And this is pretty crazy. It's this one. It was sold on Nifty Gateway, and yeah, not 101 from Beeple's first NG drop has just resold on the secondary market for 6.6 million. History has just been made. Congrats on Beeple, and of course, yeah. So this is what the artwork. And let me see if it actually plays. Yeah, it's I guess got some value for people. Not really sure why 6.6 million, but it does look pretty cool. Yeah, it's like that. In my opinion, it's probably going to be a lot of wash trading happening in the NFT space, but yeah, it is what it is. So after the massive correction that we had over the last few days, a lot of DeFi lending platforms experienced like crazy liquidations. $150 million in loans were liquidated as the ETH price dropped, and that's pretty crazy. So here you've got different platforms where people had loans. I think it's important, like the cryptocurrency space is already risky. Definitely don't take too much risk upon yourselves. You never really know when the next crash is going to happen, and if your loans are not going to like sustain a 30 or 40% correction, then definitely don't open it up, because liquidations are super painful. And yeah, I mean, you get enough profits just by hodling. GZ7, hi man, what about Aave? We'll look about Aave later on. Yeah, big fan of the Aave platform. It already had a pretty crazy price increase, and we'll look at it when we look at the charts. So yeah, the NFT space has been increasing pretty much. So this is probably also a good place to invest in if you want to have like a bit of allocation towards NFT space. Probably some decentralized parcels, maybe on crypto voxels or Decentraland. Axia Infinity is probably also pretty popular, and I think many of these will increase in value over the next year. Can't really tell you why, but yeah, many things happen in an irrational fashion that I cannot explain. Yeah. So I'd like to talk to you about Orion because I think this is pretty cool. I found this article. It's pretty fresh. It's alpha news, so that you only get on this channel. I don't think I've seen anyone else talk about this. And if you haven't already seen, the Orion platform is a pretty cool trading interface. It's Orion protocol. This is the future of trading. I made a video about it, and you can also stake. And the staking amount you get APY for Orion protocol is fantastic. So here you can sign up to actually participate in the beta, and I think this is pretty cool. And what I want to share with you is the staking rewards that you can get. Now with everything in the DeFi space, you have to err on the side of caution with these things. Do not invest what you don't want to lose. So let's have a look at the staking potential, and I think this is pretty crazy amounts that you can be earning. And this is from an article. I'll actually post it here in the chat so you can have a look at that when you've got some time. And if we go down, it's based on a price, I think $7 per Orion token. So here you've got different scenarios on how much you could be earning per year, and these rates will fluctuate. And basically you're earning trading fees. And this is the first scenario with $112 million of daily trading volume, which is pretty low in my opinion. I mean, you've got other exchanges that are generating like several billion US dollars in trading volume. So if we look at other exchanges, let me see. So 6 months ago, Binance was doing $9 billion of trading volume, and now it's around 20 billion. But of course, Binance is like one of the biggest exchanges, and even KuCoin, which it's like a B tier exchange which was hacked, so that's why it's probably not as popular at the moment, and it's still doing 400 to 500 million dollars in trading volume. As you can see with the BNB price, with more trading volume, the higher the price goes. And that's going to probably be the same thing with this Orion platform, which I made a video about a while ago. It's like top DeFi coins that I'm invested in. So if we look at it here with a trading volume of 112 million US dollars, and you stake around 1,000 Orion with a price of $7, so that would be $7,000, you would be receiving 44% annually, which is just like a crazy amount if you ask me. And the thing is, the more that this trading volume goes up, and also the more that the price goes up, the higher the rewards get. So if we go down here, same parameters, but now including LVP, BP, DEX, K, and LSV. So this is pretty crazy. This is basically their launchpad and enterprise swap widget. So swap widget is like a widget that you could place on websites that would allow people to swap tokens between each other without leaving that website. So that would also increase the trading volume, and that would mean that, for example, you'd have here a much higher because these incur more fees. So that would mean here you could have like around 235% APY. So that's pretty crazy. If you go even lower, you've got scenario 2 with even more volume, 276 but daily volume with Orion price at $10, and that would be around 87% APY. So as you can see, this APY fluctuates, but this is crazy amounts of returns that you can generate. And I will definitely be making a video on how to stake as soon as that's possible, because I'm a big fan of passive income. I want to make passive income, so that I've got something like fixed income that comes in every month. That's why I really love the ADA staking, which generates 5% passive income, which is beautiful. I mean, who doesn't like passive income? It's definitely a dream for everyone. And so basically here they've got like different scenarios you can look at. I'll definitely be making a much more in-depth video as soon as I've got access to the trading terminal, or making some tutorials and so on how to stake, because I think this is pretty awesome. Peter, would you flip ETH to ADA? I mean, I think you have to always keep in mind like what your strategy is. I definitely wouldn't go all in into one coin, because you never really know what's going to happen. I mean, I'm super bullish on Cardano, but I'm also bullish on ETH. I think having a diversified portfolio is something that is super important to have, because you never really know when one coin pumps and when another one pumps, and it's very good to have like an average, and also be able to distribute the risk onto several coins. If something should happen to the protocol, the coin could drop 90%. And if you've got it split over 5 different coins, then the risk is only 1/5 of your whole portfolio if you've got the same allocation among all of the coins. So if you've got like a lot of profit on your ETH investment and you want to like diversify, then yeah, go ahead and buy some Cardano. I'm super bullish about Cardano. And I think the price is fine at the moment. It's had a bit of a dip, but the correction was super bullish in my opinion. It actually retraced back and is trading around $1.10, which is pretty fantastic. I've got a lot of Cardano. I think I've got around 55% of my portfolio is allocated to Cardano, and I think I've got around 35% or something like that is in ETH. All right. Let's have a look at the charts, what they tell us, what kind of story they're telling us. Is it going to be a super bullish dystopian story? No, utopian story, sorry. Dystopian is the bearish version. Is it going to be a dream or is it going to be a nightmare? Definitely leave a like if you haven't already, if you appreciate this type of content. And if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Don't subscribe if you don't like money. All right, so let's have a quick look at the current market. And yeah, we had this correction and now we're having a bit of a retracement. It's still not entirely sure if this is a complete retracement which will continue, but at the moment it's looking pretty bullish. So the last time I actually looked at the charts, I was looking forward to seeing the current candle close. So this was the last candle that we're looking at, this candle on the 24th of February, which closed in the green, which is a very bullish signal. And the next candle is also a very bullish one. So what I actually see in the near term is hopefully this candle is also going to close in the green, which is great. And that is probably a clear indication that the next candle is going to be trading. And we're going to be retesting the next resistance of 1.6. And I think as soon as we see a candle close above the 1.7, we're going to have a very clear indication that the cryptocurrency market is going to increase in value over the short term. And I hope that we're going to get close to the $2 trillion range in the near future. So that means we're probably going to be moving a bit sideways, something like this, slightly higher. So I really want to see some higher highs and some higher lows. And that definitely would be an indication that the market is gearing up for another leg up like we saw back in January. And yeah, the next resistance that we've got is 1.7 trillion. I'd expect that we touch this a few times before we break above. Now, the bearish scenario will basically, if now we come back and go down to the 1.3 trillion US dollar range and break down and go back down towards the $1 trillion US market cap. That's for the whole cryptocurrency market. But as long as we print higher lows and higher highs, this is definitely bearish. And we want to see a break above 1.7 trillion in the next few days, probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. This is going to happen. All right. Let's have a look at BTC. Then we'll have a look at ETH, ADA, and then we can also have some discussions about Polka Dot. So let's have a look at Btc USD. I think Btc USD is going to have a bit of a timeout at the beginning and trade sideways for a bit. So nothing new with that. I'd expect us to see a bit of a retracement here on 53,000. It's possible it comes up to this line, and we also see here a bit of a sideways movement. And I think this is actually very positive for the altcoin space, because when BTC is actually trading sideways, that gives altcoins quite a lot of time to rally and push to even higher levels. And a lot of altcoins have been gaining a lot in value compared to BTC. And that's basically what you want to do. You don't want to compare your coins to US dollar valuation. You want to compare them to BTC and ETH, Basically, you want your altcoins to gain more in value. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to hold those altcoins. Let's have a look at ETH, but wait, let's first, on the RSI side of things, it's looking fine. The MACD is a bit bearish, so that means it's possible that we have here this touch and we go a bit lower on BTC, but that's to be expected. And yeah, we'll move a bit sideways. So this is definitely not bullish. I don't think we're going to be popping up anytime soon to the next levels for BTC. Let's have a look at ETH. I think ETH is doing pretty well. We had a bit of a correction as well last the whole cryptocurrency market had. And I think what's pretty bullish for ETH is that we've got this channel here, which started quite a while ago. So we had these two trend lines where ETH price was actually trading and bouncing between those, and it broke out of this trend line and back at the beginning of the year. And it's been trading outside of this trend line, and this bullish trend line has now acted as support on several occasions here back on the 12th of January, on the 22nd of January, and on the 23rd of January. And yeah, we had this retest, and this is pretty good. We've been moving a bit sideways, but I expect that in the next few days we're probably going to have a green candle and retest this resistance at $1,867, and it's possible that we bounce back off that, and then here as well we're probably going to be moving a bit like this over the next few days, and then hopefully in the bullish scenario we're going to go up and retest the next levels, as long as we've got a lot of value. If we break down, then it's the bearish scenario is probably going to be that we move again in this channel, which means that it's going to take a while to go back to the 8,800. So I definitely hope that this scenario here plays out, breaking past the $1,834 level. Let's have a look at ADA USD. ADA is doing fantastic. I'm really happy about my ADA position, earning 5% coins per year. Just a crazy amount, especially if you've got a lot of ADA, earning like maybe 80 coins every 5 days, or 100 or 200 coins every 5 days is fantastic. That means you'd be earning like $100, $200 every 5 days, depending on what your ADA position is. And I think this year is really, really bullish. I think ADA at the moment is looking very bullish compared to other coins that I've been looking at. It's way more bullish than BTC. It's way more bullish than ETH and many of the other altcoins. And the reason I'm saying that is, first of all, if we look at this MACD, we've got a red cross, a green cross, a red cross, and a green cross. And this green cross is bullish. That means that it's possible that we have a further pump upwards, possibly because of the massive fundamentals that are happening at the moment on the Cardano blockchain. You've got the Mary hard fork, which should happen, I believe, in 4 days. And you've got the Catalyst hedge fund, which is fantastic. This is also super bullish. And the reason why I'm actually super bullish at the moment on this price action of Cardano is because of the break above this pretty strong resistance, which was actually the moment where we broke above $1.16 back on the 20th of February. That was pretty bullish push, and this actually acted as a resistance on 1, 2, basically 3 occasions, and now we actually broke above it. So now I want this candle here to close above this resistance, $1.12. And if it closes above that in 7 hours and 15 minutes, then this is going to be really bullish. And I do expect that Cardano is going to then have another candle that goes up and possibly go to this resistance level here, which is the previous all-time high. And that's pretty cool, because if you look at the current price of Cardano, it's never been as long as it was in this area before. This is the longest time it's been around these price levels. Back in 2018, it was maybe only a week around these levels. It was like super euphoric for 1 or 2 weeks. And now with the super strong fundamentals, it's managing to stay above the $1 range for a pretty long time. And I think that's pretty good. If you've got a good other position and you accumulated at low prices, I think this is more or less a safe hodl at the moment, and I do expect at the end of the year that we see at least $5 for the price. So let me quickly compare Cardano at the moment to 2018. Let me remove this quickly. So as you can see here, Cardano was barely at this level for more than a week. Like it's probably only like 1 or 2 days. So if we look at the daily chart, it was actually maybe only above the $1.12 level for 2 days. That's like super low amount, and like the price increase was so fast that yeah, it couldn't sustain these levels. But what I want you to realize is that this price increase was basically at the end of the bull run, and this will happen again at the end of this bull run. So in my opinion, this is Cardano at the end of the 2018 bull run. And if we look at 2021, I believe we are currently probably at around this level here. Probably around this level here, like this slow move upwards. It's probably where we are at the moment, but the price is of course way higher. So the euphoric phase of the price growth is something that's still way ahead of us. And that's why I believe $5, $10 is definitely possible, because the crazy mania phase is definitely something that will either happen at the end of this year or next year, where we're going to have like a massive exuberance in price action, which will probably catapult us probably even to $10. Yeah. So that's for Cardano. As you can see, I'm really hyped about Cardano at the moment. Mad Crypto Team Ada también. Tutto también. Fixes, I was just gonna give yeah, that ETH is in granny mode. Yeah, ETH at the moment, it has become a stable coin. So I think it's pretty good that it's moving sideways. I mean, of course, I really like that it pumps, but it's also understandable that alts now are actually increasing massively in value, because yeah, even BTC are moving sideways and people are getting bored, so they're looking for more lucrative investments in lower cap coins that can give them a lot more ETH in return afterwards. So let's have a look at Polka Dot. I think Polka Dot is also pretty cool project. It's not been doing a lot in terms of price action. It didn't have such a great retracement compared to Cardano, but it's still pretty good. It had like a massive increase over the last few weeks, and I think it's going to be doing something very similar that what happened back in January. So also a move that is very similar, so a bit like this sideways triangle, and it's possible that here in the next 1 to 2 weeks we also get a breakout above and continue our rally. But compared to Cardano, we don't have this red green on the MACD, so it's bullish but not as bullish as Cardano at the moment. If we look at Stellar, trading at 41 cents, Stellar has got a lot of potential. I don't think it's got as much potential as some of the smart contract blockchains, but I think it's got quite a lot of potential as a lot of companies are looking at Stellar at the moment. And here I think this is pretty cool, is that at the moment it is above the previous all-time high. Let me actually look if I've got the most actual chart. So this is XLM USD, which is better. The strongest support at the moment is here at 15 cents, and it hasn't had that much of a rally until now. And I think now is probably a good time for a bit of a retracement, buying the dip, and then waiting it for it to go above. So this is what looks like a cup and handle pattern. So what I also expect here is probably a bit of a retracement down here. And when it breaks above this level here, then that's definitely going to be a bullish sign. So if you actually want to be on the safe side, you can actually wait for it to break above here and then buy. And if you just want to buy for a longer period of time, you can also just buy the dip. You could probably also set some buy orders down here, even though I think that's a bit of a stretch where you can actually buy some. Joel, B Pro is a small cap gem, up 96% today already and still well under 50 cents. Well, let's have a quick look at B Pro, what kind of project it is, and I'll maybe give you a little bit of an honest opinion of what I think about it. But it's like super fast. B Pro crypto, let's see what it is. B Pro network, build the future of DeFi gaming. 10 plus public projects, 50 plus incur. That's pretty interesting. I don't really know the other ones. So what does it do? The code base for gaming 3.0, where code as a service protocol, providing technology and support for blockchain-based applications. Built on Ethereum, Polka Dot, or Binance chain with existing. So that's pretty cool. You can actually implement the B Pro on different blockchains, ETH, DOT, and BSC. Change fast and be scalable. Use fork, edit, and run it yourself. And prediction markets, peer-to-peer betting, informational markets. I think this is quite interesting. B Pro token model. B Pro's token economy is built around the B Pro token, and the utility token that enables token holders to set up applications on B Pro, participate in the network, and then token rewards by staking and providing value. I wonder if you also get some rewards by holding the assets. That would be quite interesting to see that. Let's look at it on CoinGecko if that's available. 873, $7 million US market cap. All right, here you've got a way higher total supply, so that's at 10 billion. So that means the market cap is already at 70 million. Quite a bit of a pump. And it's rebranded to B Pro network. Yeah, quite a bit of a pump actually over the last few days. So definitely maybe wait on the pullback, but yeah, I would have to look at it way more at the moment. This is way too much of a pump for me to get in. But yeah, I would have to look at it more in depth to give more of an honest opinion about if it's good or not. All right, so last but not least, I've got a pretty cool project that I just recently bought. I think it's got quite a lot of potential, and that is Tomo Chain, which is pretty low at the moment. It's $2.30, and it's a really cool project. It's basically a public Ethereum virtual machine compatible blockchain, which also allows for low transaction fees and fast confirmation times. And I think this is pretty interesting, as this can also use Ethereum dApps and support different blockchains and decentralized financial applications. So probably ETH dApps could run on the Tomo chain in the near future. And yeah, so it does look really interesting. I'm going to make a much more in-depth video on it. At the moment, the price of Tomo is $2.29. Market cap is 188 million, and the circulating supply is 80 million. The total supply is not much higher, so just around 20% higher. The price, what I actually like about it at the moment is the massive amounts of volume that shows quite a lot of interest. And if we look at the charts, Tomo BTC, it's looking pretty bullish on the for the Tomo BTC, as it's at the bottom at a very strong support line. So that's gonna be quite interesting to see how this plans out. Because I'm always looking at it in comparison to BTC, as that's always a pretty strong support and offers a lot of opportunity to go way higher. But I'm gonna have to see. It's definitely a way riskier investment, and yeah, definitely not financial advice. It's just something I bought and I wanted to share with you. So yeah. Thoughts on Denta Coin? Haven't looked too much. I believe, is that the one where you can rent out your mobile space? Let me quickly check. I think I've looked at it quite a bit, but I can't really remember what exactly it does. Global dental industry. Sounds interesting. I think it's quite a bit of a niche. I wonder if it's got a lot of potential. Mainly, I invest in blockchain platforms because I think at the moment those are the ones with the biggest amount of potential, and also DeFi space. So yield earning, liquidity platforms, synthetics, derivatives, and so on. I think that the difficult aspect for platforms that are in the medical space is the amount of regulations that they have to battle in order to implement it. So that's going to be interesting. So secure blockchain infrastructure, patient-centered care and intelligent prevention used jointly to improve long-term health, reduce cost and pain, and ensure benefits for all market participants. I think this is definitely a really interesting setup and like vision and what they want to achieve. The only issue I see here with that is like you've got so many different regulations around healthcare. Like the UK, you've got different regulations, and trying to get different dentists and yeah, basically different dentists and healthcare institutions to implement a blockchain solution. Most of them are way behind in terms of technology. I mean, they have no clue what it's about. So I think it's the tough call is not the technology, but to implement it. Yeah. What do you think about the potential in refinance? Yeah, I think the red flags for me in refinance are way too high at the moment. I watched the current video, or the last video that the CEO released concerning like the additional amount of coins that they created on the Reef platform. So the total supply was increased, I think, by 0.5, and also the CEO of the Reef protocol has been yeah, involved in quite a few shady projects back in 2017. So for me, that's a bit too many red flags at the moment. The fundamentals are interesting, but yeah, I'm always very cautious with what kind of projects I invest in. And as soon as I see red flags that for me just don't fit the bill, yeah, then I'm out. I'm sorry about that. It's definitely not bad. That's just my honest opinion. And as I said, I don't really hype projects I don't believe in. And at the moment, it's got way too many red flags. Yeah. So I hope, wish everyone that's in refinance a lot of luck, but me, I'm out. Yeah. All right. So if you've got any questions, definitely let me know. I've got not any other info that I'd like to share with you. But yeah, if you've got any questions, you want to chat a bit, definitely let me know or answer some questions on projects. If you've got projects that you would like me to check out, then definitely let me know. I'll check them out, give you my honest opinion about them, if I would invest in them or not. And yeah, definitely let me know. Bullseye, what about Paid Network? I think Paid Network is pretty fantastic. I tried to get in the ICO. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to get in, which is a bit of a bummer. But I think it's pretty cool. I really like the Paid Network. I think it's got a lot of potential. Yeah, I'm a bit pissed that I didn't get into the ICO, as that would have been a really nice return on investment. But I still think it's got a lot of upwards potential. Yeah. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. I think their long-term vision is very bullish. Their um, yeah, I think the way that they're setting up the different elements is super interesting. You've got the smart agreements, the lending and liquidity pools, and arbitration. And I think the value that you can get here is going to increase massively. So you've got the DeFi space where it taps into a lot of existing applications, decentralized financial DEXs, lending and insurances. And what is also cool is the escrow and DICO model, which is a type of ICO, a new decentralized ICO model. I also really enjoy the way that the token economics with the token burns, it's reducing the supply, which increases the value. And they've also got really awesome insurance pools. Bullseye, I'm in the USA. We can't get into any of them. I really, really feel sorry for you. I mean, I'm sure not everything is bad, but in terms of cryptocurrencies, you've got the short end of the stick, which is definitely really unfortunate. I really don't know why the US is so behind in terms of regulations on hindering the innovation in the cryptocurrency space. I think that's probably because a lot of boomers are into politics and they have no clue what cryptocurrencies are, what blockchains are. And also pretty sure that there's a lot of lobbying happening, like massive institutions, hedge funds, and so on that really hate cryptocurrencies are paying politicians like to implement anti-crypto regulations. So I really, really feel sorry for you that you can't participate. At least you can try and participate on decentralized exchanges, as that's not regulated. But yeah. Com33, if you would have 100K to invest, how would you invest? I mean, I'm a pretty conservative cryptocurrency investor, in the sense that the cryptocurrency space is already relatively risky as it is. So I would stay with like top market cap projects. So maybe put 25% BTC, 25% ETH, 25% Polka Dot, 25% Cardano. I think that was already maybe a little bit less than 25%, and then you maybe only put 20% into those five, and then the remaining 10% or so you can maybe put into other projects that are lower cap, like maybe some smaller shitcoins that you found that you think have a lot of potential, but definitely stick with like the bigger ones, as they've got the higher chance of increasing in value. And I think you shouldn't really try and get the most possible returns, but the safest possible returns. So me personally, to be honest, I'm like super happy if I get like 200% returns per year, because that's like a crazy amount. Like at the moment, I think at 12x on my portfolio. I know some people they get like 100x and 1000x, so I don't know what, and good on them. But I prefer to have the safest amount of returns, and pretty good average returns. So that's the way that I go. So I would stick with like projects that have a great maturity, top 100 coins, and definitely with a larger allocation to like top 10 coins. So if you look at CoinGecko, and for the amount that is maybe for maybe shitcoins or something like that, you can maybe try and invest into lower cap projects in the DeFi space that have a lot of potential to increase. But like with most shitcoins, the possibility is higher that it doesn't increase that much in value. Yeah, and definitely time in the market beats timing in the market. So if you decide to invest in a project, just keep it like, it's better to only invest maybe $100 and leave it for a while than just like flip-flopping between projects because you're trying to chase a green candle there, here, and another green candle there. That's like the best way to get wrecked. Would it scare you to get into a new Polka swap project? They are 50x in the first minute of launching. No, I would really, really like to get into Polka swap projects. I've just been incredibly unlucky at the moment. Yeah, I also don't really have the time like to be right there when the bell rings and it's ready. It's like I'm either too slow or I'm doing something wrong. I'm gonna have to do a lot more investigation on what I'm doing wrong concerning the Polka swap projects. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting into more of them in the future as they're incredibly lucrative. And to be honest, I don't really care if I invest, for example, $1,000 and it goes to zero. That's basically the risk I'm taking, and a 50 to 1, yeah, possibility to get 50 to 1. You only have to get like 1 out of 10 or 1 out of 50 correct to basically break even. So losing $1,000 with the possibility to gain $50,000 is definitely lucrative, but it's not easy because yeah, many people want to try and get in. All right, so that was it for this video. If you've got any last questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, I'll close the stream and I'll catch you in the next video. I'm gonna go out, enjoy a bit of the evening, maybe cook some food with a friend and drink a bottle of wine. Let's see what the evening brings us. Bullseye, I mean, as soon as they get listed on Uni. Well, the problem is with Uni listing is that you're competing with a massive amounts of bots. So you've got no chance there. If you're not running a Uni bot, you basically have no chance at the beginning because you're gonna have to pay like crazy amounts of fees, and it also really depends on how much you're investing. Like if with less than 10K, it makes no sense with the massive amounts of fees that you're paying, and it's possible that your transaction doesn't really go through. You have to be like super fast, really fast. A better strategy is probably to wait maybe at 1 or 2 hours for the price to consolidate, maybe go down a bit, because very often on most of the Uniswap charts that I've seen, the price goes up in the first 1 or 2 hours and then it retraces maybe like 20-30% around the 5th or 6th hour after the launch. And that's probably the better time to get into a project. And if you get into it long term, then a 10x, 20x is still possible. Yeah, probably you missed out on the 50x, but unless you've got like a super fast trading bot with like a machine learning algorithm to make sure it gets the like correct amount of gas fees, you've got no chance to snipe newly listed Uniswap projects. All right, so that was it for this video, and yeah, I'll catch you in the next stream. Definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, enjoy your evening. Catch you soon. Bye bye.